Please. I want to welcome you to the Board of Water and Power Commissioners meeting. This is our regularly scheduled meeting for Tuesday, October the 19th. We'll start out by opening remarks by me as President of the Commission. Again, this is going to be videoed is being videoed right now or taped right now, and will be shown on Channel 35. It should come on between 6 and 7 tonight, and then on Saturday over the weekend. We are not sure, however, the exact time, so if you'd like to call Channel 35, which is the city channel, and call 311, and they can connect you with the city channel. They will give you the exact times. I just want to thank our staff and our employees for the outstanding job that they've done, both during the very warm season that we just got over, and also during some of the water issues that we've had in the last week or so. They've been very responsive. You haven't read or seen or heard much about them because we have such a great crew out there, and they do every time they go out to repair a transformer, to climb a pole, to jump into a hole that water's pouring out of. They really do give their lives to do that, and so we want to again show our appreciation and thank them for that. The next report, I have nothing else. The next report will be a briefing by our General Manager, Mr. Buettner.
Thank you, President Alpert. On this day, should be noted October 19th, 2010, I'm sorry, it's a very important day, principally because we're actually going to celebrate the birthday of Mr. Lee Alpert today. If you all join me in singing happy birthday, my voice is terrible, so. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lee. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. We're going to extend you another year. We're going to make it permanent. Thank you so much. That's very kind
really
of all of you.
The most important thing we had, and I will gladly turn the mic back over to you.
Thank you, sir, very much. I very much appreciate it. Yes, it is my birthday today, and I look forward to having one every year. Because if I don't, there's a real problem. So thank you very much. I'm embarrassed by it, but pleasantly surprised. And I don't know how you found out, Austin, but thank you so much for doing that. And thanks, staff, also. We'll move on now to the comments and requests from commissioners relating to LADWP operations. And I'll look to our Vice President first.
Nothing.
Any comments from you, sir? Any comments from?
I would like to hear a status of the stakeholder meetings that were discussed relating to the solar program, revising the solar program, and what the status of that is.
All right, so we can do that at our next session. We'll agendize that for our next session, unless it's going to come up in any reports today so that the public will have the proper notice, and we'll get a report on that. Any other comments, Commissioner Noonan?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, good. And next, we'll move on to public comment. And I note that we do have some public comment cards. Any
Yes,
general? Pardon?
Yes, we do have public
Okay,
comments.
please call them and let them know their
Okay,
names.
just please be reminded we have a 2-minute speaking limit. The first speaker is Dale Kimmel, and after that, Luthier Fibol.
Mr. Kimmel or Ms.?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have time to bring the maps in real quick?
You have 2 minutes to do whatever you wish, almost whatever you wish.
You want to bring them in while I'm talking? Please hold all questions until after presentation of the individuals that will be speaking after me. The map that he is bringing in is all the designated routes from the LADWP high power tension lines, which they start at Barron Ridge Wind Farm and in Kern County and runs to the city of Los Angeles. The Green Valley Town Council and the community members feel that the northwestern Route 1 with alterations would be the best possible choice for the new power lines. This is no towns and private property in the way of the route. Would you really want to be seen as responsible for over 1,400 individuals' homes and lives possibly destroyed in a forest fire, which could not be effectively fought due to the closure proximity of the power lines to the existing private property? Many believe that the magnetic fields with the power lines creates a health issue, and the visual and physical location near established rural neighborhoods would definitely affect property values as well as the quality of life in those areas that we have selected to live. It appears those in the position to decide to have chosen to ignore these detrimental issues in their choice of routes excessively affects some to benefit others. Route 1 from the Barren Ridge Wind Farm and follows the existing power lines to the LADWP aqueduct. The new power lines should follow the direction of the aqueduct on the lower mountain edges of the flatlands and near the Kern County line. There the power lines turns west and follows the Kern County line to Pesquito Creek, where the line should drop down and cross 138 through Angeles National Forest, which would allow access from the old road. They would then run past the Castate Power Plant and over to the proposed Haskell switching station. This would reduce the risk of losing the majority of electrical power in the city of Los Angeles in a major fire earthquake by having a northern route, middle route, and a southern route.
Could you wrap up your remarks, please? Your time is up.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker is Luthier Fivol, and after that, Warren McMiller.
My name is Luthier F. Bowl, and I live in Green Valley. I would like to give just a few reasons why many Green Valley residents are not in favor of the proposed Barren Ridge transmission line route through Green Valley along the existing corridor next to San Francisco Canyon Road. 1, it will cut through and across several large properties on that side of San Fran, which will further reduce already deteriorated property values. A fair market value at this time of economic distress would definitely not be good for those affected homeowners. Further, the electromagnetic fields generated by power lines of a much higher intensity than the ones already in position would cause many more painful shocks to dogs, horses, cattle, and other livestock living near those lines than are already being experienced by those unfortunate animals. Such shocks had been observed by more than one rancher there. 2, broken and falling electrical lines cause fires. There have been several fires in the last few years directly caused by compromised electrical lines. 2 of many such California fires, but one's very close to Green Valley, were relatively small. One at Power Plant 1 on May 12, 2009, where a line rubbed against a tree limb, and one along Bouquet Canyon Road on November 19, 2007, where a hawk landed on a wire, stretched its wing, touched another wire, shorted the lines, and caused a fire. Now, firefighters cannot fight wildfires under such high-tension electrical lines. Smoke from a fire rising through those transmission lines acts as a conductor, bringing the very real danger of electrocution to any firefighters on the ground under or near such lines. Helicopters cannot fly very low over areas where tall towers stretch almost invisible lines because of the danger of a collision. Anyone who's ever watched the marvelous aerial water drops over our every year California wildfires knows that the closer those pilots can bring their craft to the actual flames, the better the effect of the water they drop. The higher the craft, the more that water dissipates in the wind. Aesthetics. Our town is completely surrounded by the Angeles National Forest, and all of our residents moved here for the rural beauty of its jewel-like setting. And power transmission lines are ugly, as we all know. And last one, if the proposed line corridor could be moved north to go along the California Aqueduct, which is one of the proposed routes, and it's number 1, I believe, this would provide several benefits: a source of water for fighting any fires, an already existing road for construction and maintenance, as a road does parallel the aqueduct. The total distance isn't that different, and there are not that many homes or ranches that would be affected. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Next speaker.
Next speaker is Warren B. Miller, and after that, Alicia Robertson.
Mr. Miller?
2 minutes is hardly, my name is Warren B. Miller, 2 minutes is hardly enough time to speak on something which is such great importance to us as this is. I'm going to cut it right to the quick. The uniqueness of our valley with a mountain range around the entire sides of it. Can you hear me if I walk over here? We have a mountain range.
Actually, excuse me, sir. You're being taped, and the people will not be able to hear you if you're not at your microphone. Those who are watching us.
Thank you. Okay, what we have here on the north side, on this ridge here, we have a 4,000-foot elevation. We have on this side here a 3,700-foot elevation, and we have on that side about a 3,700-foot elevation surrounding us, thus creating a valley. The valley floor is right at 3,000 feet. That means it's about a 1,000-foot drop from the top of this ridge where the planes come in. They come in right in here and drop down like this side as you're looking at it to the lower side of the yellow line. That's the existing lines that are there now. Now this blue proposal I think is out of the picture, but if you take this yellow line and raise it up any more distance than it already is, the planes coming in at 150 miles an hour have to come up and over and drop down to get the precise location to make the correct drop of the deterrent, the retardant, water, whatever they're bringing in to fight a fire. We live in a tremendous fire zone, tremendous. Canyon, the winds blow up the canyon, and we've almost burned out several times in the 25 years I've been there. We've got to make sure that the fire department has full access to getting all the way through this canyon and all the homes that are on both sides of this power line that does exist. Raising the power line is not a good option. A second easement in there is a worse option. The best option we do have is to find a path that doesn't go through homes. This goes right straight through the homes. There's a ridge route path that has been looked at, path 1. I'd like you to take a second look, a serious look at that, and make considerations in that effort. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Alicia Robertson, and after that, Natalie Ambrose.
Hi, I'm Alicia Robertson, and I'm a real estate broker and a member of the Green Valley Town Council. Green Valley is a very unique town located just above Santa Clarita and below Antelope Valley. We are surrounded by the National Forest. There is one street that goes through the entire town called Spunky Canyon. Bouquet Canyon and San Francisco Canyon roads are the only entrances and exits to Green Valley. In January 2005, Bouquet Canyon and San Francisco Canyon southbound were both destroyed during the 100-year flood. Northbound routes were also flooded and inaccessible to traffic and emergency vehicles for days after. We understand power of nature and accept that this is a consequence in living where we live. However, recently, the other power company has placed power across Spunky Canyon near the Bouquet Canyon entrance and where the super scoopers used to enter Bouquet Canyon Reservoir. Now, LADWP is considering additional power lines through San Francisco Canyon. San Francisco Canyon has been documented as a major fire zone. Major earthquakes happen approximately every 20 years. It has been 16 years since our last major earthquake. We are due and very close to the San Andreas Fault. Green Valley is also 1.5 miles long, and there is a 5.5 miles between Bouquet and San Francisco Canyon. We all know that fires travel very quickly, leaving very little time for evacuations. It is our concern that when the next fire or earthquake arrives, there will be no escape route for our community. Please choose one of the alternative routes. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Barbara, next speaker.
The next speaker is Natalie Ambrose, and after that, Candido Moretz.
I'd like to complete the article that the president was using. Route 2, which is supposed to go through the town of Green Valley, should be considered as a second choice with some altercations. Even though it cannot be started in time to take advantage of the federal stimulus package, there are enough state and federal programs that could fund the majority of the program. The tunnel would need to be able to handle a 9.6 earthquake and be completed in less than 6 months. I'd like to jump to my own comments. Green Valley is a wonderful place to live, but we are suspicious of any little shake in the land. we are worried, and we take care about fire. It seems to me that it is absolutely essential in looking at what kind of things we are talking about, that we are recognizing that this is a community that is very much in touch with itself, that does like to respond to the needs of the community in terms of the mountains, the roads, etc. And we do think that that needs to be given great, great consideration by this county board. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, ma'am. Next speaker,
The next speaker is Candido Morez, and after that, Tony Wilkinson.
Mr. Morez.
Good morning, Commissioner. Mr. Alpert, happy birthday.
Thank
You
you,
and
sir.
I may disagree on issues here, but you know that I have nothing but respect for you because I know who you are, and I've known you for quite a few years. But to
Thank
our
you,
friends from Green Valley, I want to welcome you and thank you for being here. I also, as a member of the Van Nuys Neighborhood Council and a resident of the city of Los Angeles, I want to apologize to you folks because you had to have your, you couldn't park in the parking lot. You were dropped off, and thank God you had a 72-year-old young man that was able to walk back. I believe it's the gentleman with the hat. Thank you, sir. And we hope that we'll be able to straighten that issue out. We have a great Board of Commissioners, and hopefully we'll be able to work that issue out. And I hope and I believe that they'll listen to you, and that I know your community. It's a beautiful community. It's a great place to kind of get away from Los Angeles. And again, welcome to our community. I'd like to report in regards to last night's meeting, public meeting held at East High School. There was a great turnout. And again, folks, the cracks in the wall. People are finally getting tired. It's gotten to the point to where we see that this city is on the verge of bankruptcy. And the one thing that was repeated over and over again by the folks that were there last night was the respect for the DWP workers who are out there. I mean, yes, Mr. Alpert, the people that go in the holes and the ones that go up on the poles, but it's also those who administer and who are here each and every day making sure that this building and all buildings are running and that we get our water and power. So, again, that was the one issue that everybody did agree upon, was that the workers at DWP were outstanding. But that the fact still remains is that most people are suffering. A lot of seniors are hurting, and they want to see changes and results. One of the things that I'll talk about later on is the procurement process. It's going to be item 6. I hope to hear the report and then respond if necessary. But again, folks, I hope that you'll listen to these people from Green Valley, and also to those of us in neighborhood councils who have been coming here for many, many years, just asking for one thing, is that the integrity of this council, of this department be restored, and that people are respected and that they're not punished because they speak out and they try to correct issues that are needed to be corrected. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Wilkinson.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir.
Tony Wilkinson of the Neighborhood Council, Department of Water and Power, Memorandum of Understanding Oversight Committee. On the agenda is an extension of our very expensive interim general manager. It's probably, I mean, it's only 2 months. I wish it were longer. But, you know, the challenge, one of the challenges is finding a permanent general manager. I'm sure you're all aware of that. While the pay of the general manager of this wonderful department is high by city standards, it's so far below the level of private industry for a head of a facility much smaller than the Department of Water and Power, that to a great extent leading this wonderful department has got to be a labor of love. It's got to be somebody who wants to do this for the city of Los Angeles and for the sake of having a major achievement. I think it's going to be very difficult to attract the head of a large private utility. And I think that at this point, particularly having gone through Mr. Butner's openness and transparency, his sharing of the finances of this department as they haven't been shared before, I think that the management team in this department needs to be considered as one of the key sources, perhaps, of a manager for the Department of Water and Power. This is a wonderful department. I can't imagine having anyone A very small department here is as large as a large public utility somewhere else. And I really, truly hope that this board will consider strongly candidates from within the department to stand up and best be positioned to defend this wonderful department and their fellow colleagues and to act from their heart, because they've had it for many years here. So I really do hope that you will consider internal applicants.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Wilkerson.
Okay, the next speaker is Gary Lee, and after that, Linda Romney.
Mr. Lee. Is there a Barry Lee?
Gary, L-E-I-G-H,
Oh, Gary.
Lee.
Well, we asked him to change the number, and he had us write 4 on my card and 5 on Gary Lee's. He's with me. He wanted me to speak first.
He wants to speak
Oh,
on,
you're going to speak on 4? Go ahead.
he's going to speak on 5? Is that it?
Yes.
5 is the approval of our minutes. I understand that.
No, I don't know. He has, the security guard had us put that number in there. I have no...
But whatever he wants to speak on is fine. Go ahead.
Okay, I have some handouts here, some exhibits. Who do I hand that to?
One of our security people can also take it.
I'd like to talk about the DWP, and specifically I'd like to talk about the unresponsiveness to consumer correspondence, those specifically that involve a request under the California Public Records Act. I'd also like to talk about the fact that when you go in front of the commission, the individual, the hearing officer states that she's an independent hearing officer when in fact she's an independent contractor paid by the department. I'd also like to give your attention, please, to my name, Linda Romney, on June 3rd, 2010. There is a recording of that meeting before the commission. You will notice that I am interrupted continually and not allowed to speak. Furthermore, that there was fraud that was committed by the DWP, specifically Ms. Williams. She presented a documentation. First, she said for 40 minutes and an hour that there wasn't any bulletin having to do with underground leaks. 40 minutes into the session, sir, she produced bulletin number 2, which you have in your exhibit. Bulletin number 2 clearly states that if you're a senior citizen, your sole support is on pension, and that you're indigent, that they can waive 100% the cost of a leak for an underground leak, which was my water heater. On an opening bill, I got hit with over $800 on the first bill, the second bill another $200. I memorialized the conversation with the Valley rep, who told me I was getting 100% credit. Then they concealed the identity of that person and changed them from their current location in the Los Angeles Valley Department. You have my bill there. You have all my correspondence. You have even what Ms. Williams wrote, which is totally and completely fraudulent, dated June 3rd, stating that I was only entitled to a 50% discount, when in fact bulletin number 2, which she produced, which is on the record, shows I'm entitled to 100%. Then your commissioner ruled in favor of her. Something has to be done, sir. We are having a monopoly with absolutely no recourse for your consumers. I now face having my service turned off, and I'm disabled, and I'm a senior citizen. I've written everyone with the DWP. I've written my councilman. Nothing has been done. No response to any correspondence, including the California Public Records Act. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am.
And the next speaker is Richard Celestino, and after that, I don't know if Mr. Gary Lee wants to speak on our minutes or actually under public comment.
Mr. Celestino.
Hello. I am going to continue statements that were begun by Dale Kimmel, and that is to bring attention that as another alternative to power lines going through Green Valley, there, I think it's on this board down at the bottom, there is a tunnel that, water tunnel that goes
Can
between...
you speak a little closer to the mic, please? Thank you.
Sorry.
Or you can move the mic closer to you, it moves. Either way.
That works. Now, there is a water tunnel that goes from Lake Elizabeth under Green Valley and comes out on the other side. And I'm just going to read here. The tunnel would need to be able to handle 9.6 earthquake, be completed in less than 6 months. You could dig below the existing tunnel to create a second tunnel with one above the water tunnel. The bottom tunnel for the water transfer would be a 12-foot diameter steel pipe, minimum 3-inch thick wall. Top tunnel would be 12 feet high inside with a minimum 1-foot thick ceiling. The side walls would be straight while the ceiling would be flat except the curvature corners. Be 3-foot inspection door into the waterway every mile, half mile. Transmission lines that could be carried through there up to 2.5 inches in diameter with 6-inch cooling tube around the lines. There would also be room for expansion to add to that also. That was another thing that was that we wish to have considered as alternative going through Green Valley, especially with the things that we've seen happen with Station Fire. Those new lines that are put through Crown Fire area being shut down. Putting it underground pretty much makes any kind of weather condition null. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for your comment, sir. Next comment.
Okay, did Mr. Lee, are you ready to speak? Okay. Gary Lee.
Hi, I'm actually supposed to follow Linda Romney. It was really more about the Linda Romney than this, even though I'd love to talk about this, but that's another thing. Basically, what I wanted to say was I just felt that, first of all, I want to clear up the fact that the property that she was talking about was a rental property. In other words, she doesn't live on that property, and she didn't make that clear. And I want to make it clear it's a rental property. So she wasn't there the full time. So in other words, she had rented it to someone. She had some disputes about her rental agreement. They left, and this water was going on, and she didn't realize it, and nobody told her. And so she found out from a DWP rep who came out and says, hey, look, you've got a leak here. We've got to shut the water off. So that's where she ended up in this whole situation. And so she went before the board, I guess, in Van Nuys or whatever, in Van Nuys area, I guess it was. And basically, it was kind of like she was being railroaded into paying the bill. And because she didn't pay the bill, they said that they would attach it to her normal living residence, that bill. And so that's why she basically was disputing this, because she doesn't want her normal bill to be affected since she pays her bill, And so she shut the water off at this rental property once she realized that there was this problem. So, but anyway, just to kind of clarify that. But I'm just hoping that, when these kind of disputes come up, that the city will somehow work out something so that when these situations do arise, that people will have some kind of means of pointing these things out so that they aren't stuck with a bill because they just didn't know that a situation was happening. It wasn't that they deliberately set out to cause the city problems, So, but that's basically what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Any other comments?
That was the last card for number 4.
All right, then we'll end public comment now. I asked staff to please, the appropriate staff, to take a look at the issue that was raised with respect to the bill, because if they haven't already, you don't need to comment on it now, and make certain that everything appropriate was done, because these things do happen all the time. As to the Green Valley issue, I'd also ask staff, if they haven't already, to meet with or speak with the people who made the presentation to see if there's something appropriate that can't be worked out. And if you have, you have. If you haven't, then please do. And today's the opportunity, because the Green Valley people are here for anyone who wishes to meet with them to meet with them. We'll move on now to our next item. Will be item number 5. Those are our minutes. I understand we do not have comments on the minutes from the public. Is that correct, Barbara?
Right.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve with, or does someone have amendments? Or second. There's been a motion. Second. Any objections or abstentions? If none, carry unanimously. We'll move to number 6. I understand we do have a speaker card on number 6.
Yes.
So that will not be taken summarily. And I'd like, but I do note also that item number 6 if I read it correctly, has no change in cost from the initial contract. And so I'd like to invite whomever speaker is on number 6 to come up and speak on that, and whoever staff is to be around to answer any questions the speaker may have. Who's the speaker on number 6?
The speaker for number 6 is Candida Morez.
Mr. Merez? Mr. Merez, it's your turn. Number 6, please.
Are we going to have the report first?
No, we already have our report. We reviewed the report, and there's no change in cost as to this item, so it's not a financial item. But for your card, it would be an item for approval without discussion. So I don't want that to happen, so please speak and tell us what we need to do. And then if we think we need to hear from staff, we will.
I will. I'll just California Public Records Act. Again, the department is trying to straighten out the procurement supply chain. Scott Mann gave you folks a report back in 2008. There was a lot of recommendation. Many of those recommendations are still undone. One of the things that was most important that really surprised me was the fact that this department, for its size and for its the history of it, people were not being trained, that the certificates and the education just weren't there. And to hear that the department really doesn't push that and encourage that the staff people who are taking care of this big problem are encouraged to go out and get an education in that area. So that's one of the issues. The other issue is that a lot of the problems that were discussed, for those folks, members who did not get the Scott Mann report, please read it, get a copy of it, and you'll see a lot of the problems that we still are having today are not happening. Phase 2 was supposed to be implemented about 6, 7, 8 months ago. We're told now that it's not going to happen for probably another year, which means we probably won't get it until probably about 2012. But the main issue was that in 2004, when we exposed that the department had what was called the bidding net, and that the department paid over $10 million for a program that it didn't own, and then continued to pay payments on this program, which was actually a pretty good program. But the fact was that you spent all this money, wasted all this money, and here we are 6, 7 years later still trying to fix a flat tire, actually a blown engine. So I just hope that sooner or later, folks, that the procurement and supply chain and these issues will finally be addressed, and that we can be proud of something that is worthwhile of the city of Los Angeles. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments. Do any of the commissioners need to hear from staff? You've had a report. It appears there'll be no change in cost, and the contract amount will remain the same. It just extends the term by 1 year.
Move to approve.
There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objections or abstentions? Seeing and hearing none, it carries unanimously. We'll move on to item number 7. Barbara, I see do we have cards on 7?
No, we don't.
No cards. So item number 7 was an item that was deferred from our October 5th meeting. If staff would please come forward. There may be a couple questions on that item. Okay, this was the item involving the payment of the premium to Karcher, Campbell and Associates for our ongoing corporate property insurance program. And I believe Commissioner Noonan had raised some important questions to ask. And if they're still available or have not been answered, please feel free to discuss.
Well, I do appreciate the data that your division provided me. Unfortunately, I received it over the weekend. I did my best to review it. I also, as you know, I've worked with a lot of insurance companies. I've represented them. My husband's in insurance. A lot of our friends are. So over the past 10 years, I've gotten to know quite a bit about insurance. And I also did reach out to them just with specific questions. And a couple things stood out. Overall, the consensus, to be honest, was that it was a poorly structured program with carriers that don't usually play in that arena. And that takes me to your contract with Karcher. Was the wholesaler, Maximum Insurance Brokers, part of that RFP?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And then why in this contract, why did Maximum Insurance Brokers have to secure a London broker? It just seems like a very convoluted
Maxim is the London representative. They go to London, to Lloyd's of London, and represent the marketing of the program.
Okay, because the materials that I read gave it the appearance that Maximum actually secured a London broker to make the placements for you.
That is not my understanding, but I can look back at that information and double check.
Check that out and report that back to us on that issue, please, if you will. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the other thing, and I appreciate that we had a couple of seconds to talk about it, but of this 18% rebate that's given back to DWP, I still don't quite understand why it's not net out of the premiums, because my understanding is that especially markets like London must charge premium taxes. So why would we pay taxes on a whole dollar instead of 82 cents?
The purpose of the wholesaler is to secure surplus lines. Part of that exercise is based on the target price that we set going out, which was a flat $5 million, which represented roughly $500,000 reduction over the prior year. The surplus lines pay taxes and fees to the state of California as part of the State Guarantee Insurance Fund. Admitted carriers are already contributing to that fund, so in the event that those carriers go insolvent, then the State Guarantee Fund will respond to any claim that you have. So since the non-admitted carriers, like the London placements, aren't part of that, they pay the taxes and fees are associated with that access to that fund. So we pay the taxes and fees for those portions that are only admitted, which in this particular line would represent about 6 of the 11, I believe.
Okay, and you state that the commission, the 18% rebate, whatever you want to call it, is not part of the premium, because if that were the case, you'd understand that we'd be losing hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing that.
Yes, ma'am, that's absolutely correct. The commissions are separate and apart from the premium. The commissions are an incentive that the carriers pay to the broker to bring them business. We have seen historically where that can represent a conflict of interest in our procurement process. So as such, by having the brokers return the commission to us, then we kind of eliminate that conflict of interest. We're not steered to carriers that may or may not be operating in our best interest.
Okay. There's a few things that we've decided that it'd be better to discuss with you offline that don't include financial issues, but rather specific data that I just don't want to monopolize the time of everyone's time here. But I also would just like some more history on the different policies that have been placed and the markets that were tapped, because as I stated, there just seem to be quite a few mistakes in this policy according to a lot of experts that I reached out to.
Would you like me to answer that question here, or?
If you'd like.
Yes. Primarily the markets that we pursue are in the utility energy production industry. Property insurance markets are separate and apart from liability, directors and officers, workers' comp, for example. So carriers have different roles that they play in different industries. Places like Holiday Inn and the Marriotts, those are in the leisure industry. And those types of insurance companies would not sell insurance to a utility because they don't have the expertise to really rate it, and we would wind up seeing excessive cost of pricing. So as a result, we reach out to the energy production, which is oil and gas and electric utilities. We're paying approximately 0.044 cents per hundred as a rate, which is like under 4.5 cents, which is actually a very competitive rate. We have consistently seen that over a period of time. In the 12 years that I've been doing this program here for the department, we currently experience a 47% return on premiums paid for that same time period. So roughly $62 million over that time frame, $29 million in return for claims that we've had. We've experienced 17 claims in that time frame, and our trend factor is about 1 claim per year. So we are seeing some return for the profitability or for the expenditure of the program.
I think it's just all the way that you look at it. I just so you know, I actually tapped into a utility insurance expert, Jim Rubel. You may remember him. He actually did work with DWP a while ago. His core focus is insuring big utilities, municipalities. He is a global property division officer of Lockton, which is the largest private risk management firm in the world. And when I listed some of the markets that we went out to, he was puzzled. He said, why would the department go to Liberty Mutual instead of Liberty Underwriters International, who's the player. So I just, I understand that Ernst & Young is doing a review right now of your insurance policies and the relationships with these different brokerage operations. And I'd like to just get more information as that report comes out.
We'd be happy to provide that.
What's the answer to that question? Why do we go to Liberty Mutual versus Liberty Underwriters?
We find that there are a myriad of companies that are out there. On the Liberty side, they've been a consistent participant in our program. They have a 7.5% line on this program. They do what's known as a quota share. So if we have a $2 million loss, they pay 7.5%. We have a $20 million, they pay 7.5%. Our target pricing was very aggressive this year, and some of the other utilities, carriers, insurance companies, providers, they were not on board with that pricing. Some came in at $5.25 million when our target price was $5 million. So we believe that our loss history and the market conditions actually represent a good price at $5 million. The difficulty that we have is many insurance utility markets, they buy business interruption. We don't do that because of the redundancy in the system. And so as a result, we don't have a burden of business interruption, and we also don't buy earthquake for California locations because of the pricing. That brings a balance to the book of business out in the marketplace. But that also is why we require a very aggressive pricing base, which is how we got the $5 million coming in.
I'm not sure that answered the question.
I'm sure it doesn't.
That's not the question that the Commissioner asked you.
Okay.
Why do we go to one utility underwriters versus Liberty Utility Underwriters?
Mr. Sales, can you speak into the mic? I can't.
Why do we
I
go
hear
to
you. Sorry.
utility mutual versus utility underwriters? That's the question.
Well, the broker did establish a list of carriers. We currently have 137.
No, I'm
I
asking
don't know
you
exactly why. I don't select the carriers that they
So
do go to.
you don't know? Say you don't know. Why do
I
we
don't
go
know,
to
sir.
one post?
I don't
Okay,
know, but
that's
I
an
can look
easy
into
answer.
that
You
if you
don't
like.
know. Okay.
I could definitely look into that and give you an answer.
Okay, would you do that and bring an answer back? Also, you said that we set a $5 million target.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a criteria or a particular formula that you use to determine what target you're going to set?
We take a look at the industry through publication trade journals. We took a look at what they call combined loss ratio. So a particular insurance company may have a combined loss ratio of, say, 150. Example. In 1989, the Chubb Insurance Company took in $8.6 billion in premium, paid $8.4 for the Hurricane Andrew. So as a result, their pricing models are going to be a lot tougher, as well as the types of policy conditions that we put in our manuscript form. So by reading those trade journals, we kind of get a sense of what the marketplace is bearing, and based on that, we can kind of get a general idea of what we can gain out in the marketplace, as opposed to just letting the carriers dictate to us what the pricing will be.
And who's the we that sets this criteria or establishes?
I do that in conjunction with the broker. We sit down and, as of January,
So you and the broker.
we sit down and we take a look at market conditions. They give me loss history, the financials on what some of the carriers are doing. We start with those carriers that are already in our program, see how they perform, and compare that to some other carriers to see if we can increase our pricing and improve our pricing models.
Okay, so I would anticipate that you and your broker would never expect anybody to come in under 5 if you've set 5 as your target.
Well, we set it this year at 5.
If you set it this year at your target, would you anticipate that anybody would come back under 5?
No, we didn't anticipate that. In fact, most of the folks came at 5.5, 5.25, and we were very aggressive at that pricing, and as a result, we were able to actually meet that target.
And understand that. One of the things I'd like to talk about, if I may, on this particular issue, is that we don't know yet. We don't know what we would get back if we're. So let me start again. November 1st, we're out of insurance unless we pay this premium. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. So you come to us October 5th, and now with no real alternatives for us. And I asked you earlier, and I'd like to get some information on what the cost or what we'd have refunded to us in the event that we end up going with this carrier, because we don't really have much of a choice at this point, and decided to switch carriers. Will we be prorated in a refund of what our premium is?
There is a short-term cancellation provision. I can look at that and see what the return would be. Am I correct in understanding that you would ask us to then still buy the insurance, just not with these?
I'm asking you, assuming that we were to acquire the policies that you're recommending now, do those particular policies have a refund of a termination?
There is a short-term cancellation provision in
And
the
is there a
policy.
penalty provision?
I'd have to look at the policy to be
Okay,
specific.
I'd like to know
as
what that
the
is.
requirement, but I can get that
Okay.
information to you.
And then the last item I have is, I've asked this before of nearly every department that we have, and there will come a time when the items will be rejected or will be moved off the agenda, is that when a commissioner asks for documentation in order to review something, the expectation is the commissioner's response will be respected, just as we respect the work that you and your team is doing, and will be dealt with right away. 2 weeks ago was the date, October 5th was the date when Commissioner Noonan requested the information to be able to evaluate it. I believe I just heard her say that she just received it this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. That is absolutely 100% unacceptable. I say that to you and to anybody else who's out there. That is not something that we're going to accept. And even if we're forced to go forward with the policy to protect the best interests of the department, that really is not proper management and proper dealing with the commission who oversees this. We serve as a board of directors. We're responsible to the public and the ratepayers. And when we ask to see documentation, we expect it to be presented in a timely fashion, or to be told that it can't be and why it can't be. And so I'm very disappointed with your department or whomever was supposed to provide this information to Commissioner Noonan. And I will bring this up every time this occurs, which happens unfortunately frequently in some departments, not in all, but in some departments. Some are very responsive to us because just by giving us this last minute information doesn't make it go away. It makes us want to look more closely at it to see whether or not there is a real problem as to why we've received it the last minute. And so I would urge you in the subsequent information that you have agreed to provide Ms. Noonan and the commission, and please feel free to go through her even with my questions regarding, and she can get to one of us regarding the information of the proration of premiums in the event we terminate. I expect you and everybody else to get this information to her if you have it, the moment that you have it, and not delivered the weekend before, not knowing whether she's going to have time to communicate or check with anyone. Because all the commissioners are trying to do what you indicate you're trying to do, which is protect the department and provide for its best interest. And if we can help you in doing that, then we should have the opportunity and the time to do that, and to give you guidance that's necessary, or for you to give us the guidance that's necessary. I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to say that to other members of the department, but when a commission asks for information, we expect to get it, as soon as is reasonably possible too. And her getting it this weekend is just not acceptable.
Understood, sir.
Okay. So, any other comments? Or
I did have a public speaker card turned in.
Okay.
But isn't there a bigger issue here with me?
Yes, there is.
And that is that we repeatedly have the same conversation. We get things and we have to approve them, or if we don't approve them, the department's at risk in some major way. And I think that we've asked before for some kind of schedule of contracts as they're about to expire, so we can know how to put them on the calendar. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same position. It's not your, I'm not pointing you out. You're not the only person that's done this. But maybe the way to approach this, we don't have our contracts committee anymore, but some kind of scheduling of critical contracts as they expire, and then base our agenda on that schedule.
Well, even with our contracts committee, they were being brought in the last minute, and then they were coming right to us that very day.
Yes.
And so we still had the same issue with that.
Yes.
I'm going to ask, I believe it's appropriate to ask our general manager or our chief operating officer, whomever our general manager seems appropriate to ask them to get back to us with what kind of a program or plan we can put together so that if it's at all humanly possible, the commission has the delivery of those items that they're asking us to approve within a reasonable time period before we're forced to approve them. Because I know Mr. Buettner has only been here now for 6 months, but this has been happening for years and years and predecessor before me in the presidency has asked, rather in a different tone of voice, but has asked that that this not happen anymore, and it continues to happen. And so, unfortunately, if we wouldn't put this department at risk, I would not approve this contract right now because of that, and for no other reason because of that. But I'm not willing to put the department and the people at risk by not having insurance coverage. Now, the other question is, can you get, and have you discussed with the insurance carrier about a short-term policy covering all that we need to cover, as opposed to buying a year's policy and the cost of what that would be? And
I have not had those conversations. We typically buy a policy on an annual basis, but we certainly can investigate and get back to you promptly.
okay, and today is the 25th. If we see that we have a need to call a special meeting, we can certainly do that. But it would seem to me, and that the commission could at this meeting give you directive that if there is not a significant or substantial increase in the cost, that you provide a short-term policy on these items. Get a short-term policy. Hopefully, it will be prorated based upon an annual calendar, a monthly calendar per year, and get it for as short as you can. Meaning, a quarter, we call it 3-4 months, and then come back to us. But if it's going to cost substantially more dollars to do that, then I think we need to move forward with the $5.156 million policy for this year, and then you get back to us with what the cost is if we cancel. So, is that something that Commissioner you?
Yeah, that's fine. Occasionally you will bring items to us as information items. It seems to me on these critical contracts, you could do that. Bring them to us 3 months in advance before they're about to expire. We're on notice. Commissioner Noonan, for example, is an expert on insurance. She can ask her questions, and you bring it back to us 3 months later, rather than getting it 2 days in advance. And I think you should ask all your questions now. Don't worry about monopolizing this group. You got more questions?
Some of the questions may
They're
require closed session.
Yeah, but other than those, I think.
Yeah.
But I'll just, because you're kind enough to say that, I'll
unless you disagree with it.
I'm just going to touch on a few appropriate notes.
Okay, please.
And I'm just going to list these as bullets, and I'd like you to discuss these issues with Karcher and Maximum. But basically, the experts that I spoke to, that are experts in utility insurance, said that because, as you stated earlier today, you don't have earthquake coverage, that this shouldn't have even gone to wholesalers, and that reviewing everything, the probable maximum loss is going to be less than the maximum probably the probable maximum loss is going to be less than the maximum probably loss. And so you're currently at capacity of 135%, where in fact the people that I've spoken to suggested a layer policy that would be a lot less expensive. There's exclusions that aren't market, like mold, mildew, fungus, things like that should be removed. They also stated that you have so many players involved in the program that it would be more cost effective to do a wrap policy using much fewer vendors. So these issues are only added to things that we'll talk about offline. But basically, I, as well as other people who know about insurance, were less than impressed with this policy. We thought it was expensive and poorly written.
Okay, I think that kind of says it now. And if you have disagreements in your discussions, I saw when the mold should be removed, some of these items, you kind of raise your eyebrows. If you have disagreement with those things, then certainly in your discussions with the commissioner, we expect you to say that and provide a reason why.
At the appropriate time, certainly.
Okay. So in the interim, is there a motion to?
I do have a speaker card.
Oh, I'm sorry. With the speaker, any other questions from commissioners? If there are none, would the speaker please come forward?
Okay, speaker is Candido Merez.
Commissioners, Commissioner Newman, thank you so much. Thank you for your discussion. Brings forth information, and with information we get knowledge. And what do we do with knowledge? knowledge is power. And the fact is, and it's something that I've asked for over and over again, and you've proven my point, is that when we don't review these contracts, and I've been here longer than anybody here, and I will be here longer than anybody, the fact still remains is that at the last moment, at the last hour, at the last minute, it's brought forth to you, and I hear the same discussion from the commissioners. Why wasn't this brought to me 2 weeks ago? Why wasn't this brought? It's costing the ratepayers dollars, and you know this. You know this, that if this was happening in your home, if you had a contractor come into your house and he says, I'm going to do all this renovation, and it says, oops, forgot to include A, forgot to include B, you folks would be upset. We would be upset. So when are we going to get the contract committee back? When are we going to start holding people accountable? Why are we going to hold the entire department staff accountable for a few that could continue to make the same mistakes? And you people are intelligent people. You know what's going on with this. This is the hide-and-seek game. Okay? We hide it, and you try to seek it. You try to find the information. So, again, ma'am, I want to thank you, and I saw a little bit of Nick Pastore today, and it's kind of refreshing because I know we have good people here, and they want to do the right thing.
Really concerned
But again, this is all about just doing the right
And by the
thing.
way, it's Patsoris, it's not Pastores.
You know, sir, I've had a problem with that. I
know.
got your name right. But the issue still remains is that all we want is transparency and accountability, and we have the people to do it. Let's stop hiding and seeking. Let's just do what's right here, and I think we can turn this department around. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your comment.
So I think the motion then would be to approve.
There was one last thing, if I may, sir, with your
Please.
permission. Mr. Wilkinson was right. We need somebody from within this department who has the love and dedication and who's willing to stand up and say we need to reform the department. So I'm looking over at these two gentlemen over here. Again, I hope it's not the kiss of death, but we know talent when we see it.
Well, they're hiding from you and you looked at them, so that should answer the question about the kiss of death. But yes, please.
And I guess I'll direct this to you, Mr. Brown. I understand that if this bid were to go to the market, technically, you could get new proposals in, but I don't know legally if we're bound to use Karcher. You know, in that event, if you were, in the event that you wanted to bid out the policy, I could recuse myself of offering any recommendations, but all the feedback I've gotten would be that something much more cost-effective could be secured by November 1st. I just don't know if legally we're bound to.
We have an exclusivity. Do we have an
Well,
agreement?
they are the current broker of record.
Yeah.
We went out to an RFP process and selected them.
Yeah, so
They're
we
in
are
our third
bound.
year of a 3-year contract, so this is the last policy that they will be placing for us. We are currently scheduled to go out for RFP to select a new broker effective the end of December, first part of January 2011, and bring that information to the board on selection and the folks.
And out of curiosity, how long has the engagement contract been renewed with Karcher? Is this their first 3-year contract?
This is their first 3-year contract on the property side. They do use Karcher Campbell on the liability side, and I believe it's their 2nd year with them.
Okay, so thank you for the answer to your question. I think subject to any amendment or improvement by any of the commissioners, the motion I think would be to approve item number 7, subject to the following conditions. One is that prior to incurring the full $5.156,025 million contract on an annual basis, that you ascertain whether or not we are able to obtain the similar coverage on a prorated basis for a shorter time period without significant greater cost to us. And that if you are able to do that, that you do that for a shorter time period. If you are not able to do that without a significant cost to us, and significant cost I know is a vague and ambiguous term, but you're going to need to work with that and determine that. If you're not able to do that, then we enter into this contract and you provide us information as to the outs that we have and the cost to us of modifying or going with another company during the term of this provision. In other words, terminating this contract and moving forward. So that would be artfully stated the motion. I think you have the intent down. Jonathan, you have a...
Yeah, I'd just like a report back as well, if we could add
Yes.
that in. Sometimes these things disappear into the ether, and
Yes,
it would
we
be
have.
good to hear back.
That's right. We'd like a report back on what the status is and what you've done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's the motion. Is there a second?
There is.
Are there any objections or abstentions?
I don't see.
Okay, one objection. Well, if you have another suggestion, let's hear it.
Nope. Fine.
Okay. So that it carries 3-1. No objections. One objection. No abstentions. Now, you indicated to us that the bids are going to go out for another carrier at the end near the end of this year.
For another broker.
Broker, rather. I'm sorry. Near the end of this year.
That's correct.
Okay. I think it's imperative that you come to us early on in the process and let us know that you're doing that, so that you can get the input of the commissioners, and so that we know the process at least that you're going through in selecting, the broker or putting it out to brokers. That's really important. I'm not suggesting you don't know how to do it, and that we're going to ask you to exclude, include, or change it, but I'd like to know the process that you're using and what you use as a basis for the selection of a broker.
We can certainly do that.
Okay.
Well in
thank-
advance.
Yes, please. Well in advance.
Understood.
Okay. Thank you very much. That item now has been determined. Item number 8. We have financial services. Have all the commissioners had an opportunity to review that? And if so, do you have any questions or do you wish to report on that? We have no speaker cards on that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any objections or abstentions? They're seeing none. It carries unanimously. Item number 9, do we have any speaker cards?
No, I do not have any speaker cards.
Item number 9.
Let's work on it.
We want to negotiate this down.
Yeah. This
Move to approve.
Second.
Any objections or abstentions? That carries unanimously. Do I need to read the resolution in, or no? Thank you very much. And that's it. We'll then move into closed session. And I'd also, however, like to thank Mr. Butner for the fine work he's done for $1. It's not always true you get what you pay for. In Mr. Butner's case, we get a lot more.
50
thank
cents,
you.
6 months. Gets
So anyone not part of the department closed session, please leave now. And we'll have a brief recess.